the Forza series on Xbox has always straddled that fine line between simulation and arcade. I could always sense it was a serious sim racer under the hood, but I could only ever play it on my couch and with a controller. Once I turned off the assist though, you still had a handful of a race car on your hands, requiring some pretty sensitive input and correction to keep it on the straight and narrow. Forza Apex aims to bring that same experience to your Windows 10 PC and in a free-to-play model. Fortunately, I'm very happy to report it still feels as nice as its Xbox siblings. Playing with a DualShock 4 posing as an Xbox controller, I was still getting that adrenaline rush of fighting a high-performance race car, despite only using sticks and triggers. It can be very difficult to control once you get to some of the more powerful cars, but this only adds to that satisfaction when you end up mastering them, making Forza Apex a genuinely rewarding experience. The AI system claims to use the same driver system as seen in the Xbox games, but I wondered sometimes if this was just an excuse for some pretty aggressive passing moves. For the most part though, the AI opponents provide a pretty decent illusion of human driver. The car physics have a real feeling of heft behind them as well, and the rainy weather can really add another dimension to a race. The standing water in particular adds a whole new element to battle with. It looks a treat as well. It performed pretty admirably on my rather modest system of the i5 2500 and GTX 960. It is of course a Windows Universal app, which I'm led to believe means it was literally created by Satan. Didn't seem to bother me though. The graphics options were pretty limited at the start, but during the week I spent with Forza Apex, it received an update that allowed a whole new slew of configuration options, including unlocked frame rates and a VSync toggle. My setup must have sat between medium and high because I could play it flawlessly on medium at 30 FPS, but it was almost unplayable on high at 60 FPS. With these new updated options, I could set it to the medium preset and then set the frame rate to 60 FPS to give a nice balance. Allowing the extra options in there is a step in the right direction for the developers, and it's kind of always nice to know that they're actually listening on some level. It's still classified as a beta product, but it really doesn't feel like it. The level of polish is already very high and on par with what we've come to expect from Forza games. There is the odd hiccup sometimes where it'll drop a handful of frames, interrupting your controller input, but I only ever had one crash to the desktop, which happened while I was trying to scrub through a replay. I did also have a pretty weird bug where the AI races started refusing to show up to my free play events, leaving me alone on the grid. But resetting the AI options to the defaults fixed this. For all the good in Forza Apex though, it's not much more than a distraction at the moment. The tracks are limited to only a handful of locations, albeit each with a few different configurations, weather and time of day settings. And although it does have a decent garage of cars to unlock, without features such as multiplayer, it lacks a lot of longevity compared to other race games. It also currently has no wheel support, so this kind of places it in a bit of a weird space on the PC. It's definitely not going to replace Project Cars for me as my go-to sim racer, and it lacks a lot of scope compared to other PC sims at the moment. Of course it is in beta and these features might come along down the track, and I guess regardless to all this, perhaps most importantly, it's free. It's Forza on your PC, it feels great playing it with a controller, and it's free. It's hard to argue with that.